Hey friends, welcome back to the shop for another Dashcam install and review episode. This makes number 4, and each one of those are all a little different, not just from brand, but some of the features and the styling. So if you have not checked those out, we definitely recommend that you do, because each one that we are actually having the opportunity to go ahead and install and check out and then provide feedback to you has really kind of allowed us to see some of the best technologies, some of the best features, things that really do end up working for the different applications that we're putting them in. And this particular episode is sponsored by Arpha, who just so happened to send us their B25 model dash cam. Now, this one is definitely packed full of stuff. It has built-in GPS, voice command, 5G Wi-Fi, ADAS, as well as 5K, 4K. What I really like about that, outside of all of the cool features, is that it is a low profile, and that is quite the opposite of the vehicle that this is going into. Our not so low profile 2016 Subaru WRX. But before we jump into the install, let's go through an unboxing and show you what all comes with this dash cam. All right, let's walk through an unboxing on what we actually get. First, box, very solid. First is our main unit, right there. That looks cool. All right, here we go for all of our cables. We have our rear camera cable. We have our USB power cord. This should be our accessory cigarette lighter USB power source. Cool little carbon fiber wrap around it. It's a nice little cool touch. We have our panel removal tool. Bunch of little adhesive stickers for the actual cables. That's actually different. I have not seen a dash cam kit actually include these. So that's different. So a total of 5 of those. We have our screen sheets that will apply to the actual back windows, windshield. So one for use, one for extra. We have an extra sticky pad for the front camera. I like that. Our instruction manual. And then this connects to the rear camera wire that ultimately plugs into the front camera. All right, let's get this project started. We are going to start at the rear camera just because it's going to be the easiest of routing the wires. Make sure that when you do get this mounted up, go ahead, before you put it up there, take off the little protective film off the camera, or your images will be really bad and you'll be wondering why. Since this has got a sticky, we're actually going to be applying this to the rear window and then running it through the headliner. So I'll go ahead and get that started and then show you how I run it. Okay, we've got our rear camera mounted, and then from here we're going to run the wire along the rear of the headliner, and then along the edge of here we're going to pull the weather stripping away from the doors in order to run it once again along the headliner all the way down until we get to our A-pillars. You may end up having to pop off one of these caps, this one right here, in order to be able to move the headliner a little bit. If the panel remover tool that comes with the dash cam is not enough, we'll actually supply a link to a full kit that we use quite a bit in the description box. If you have not ran wires inside of one of these vehicles before, it's really easy. You do not need to actually take any of the panels off. All you'll need to do is just with your trim removal tool, just actually push the wire in right along the edge there until it's tucked away. And that's it. For the next piece of the run, I just end up pulling down the door weather seal. Much easier to continue to push it along the top of the headliner and up and out of the way with that seal out of the way. Now, for vehicles with the side curtain airbags, you want to ensure that you are not zip tying this wire to anything that could implicate your safety. Just run the wire right along there underneath the airbags so it is not in the way and it does not obstruct its actual functionality. All right, same thing for the front door. Pull our weather seal down a little bit and run our wire up through. Tuck it in good. Once you run your wire to the top of the A-pillar cover, this is where it's another critical, important tip to not run it where it's going to impede your side curtain airbag. Run it to where it does not get in its way. Then you want to run it along your headliner, and we're going to tuck in the excess right up here at the very top. There's a lot of space between the headliner and the actual roof itself, so we're going to tuck in a lot of the excess there before we run the final run down to where the camera is going to go. All right, let's talk about power cables now. Now that you have finished running this one from the rear camera, from here, what you'll have to do is grab your Y cable that has a Type-C USB on one, the round connection that's going to go to this one here. Then you have your Type-C 90-degree angle that will actually plug into the camera itself. So go ahead, plug all of these in together, and then start to route your cable through the headliner again, back down your A-pillar till we get down to here, and then I'll show you where I'm going to run it from that point. Okay, once we've run our single power wire back down through the A-pillar cover to right here, this is where we're going to pop off this particular cover in order to run the power cable through here under the dash. Just take your panel removal tool, gently pry it right here, pop away, and then this will come right off. Now you can have clear access underneath the dash in order to run the wire directly over to the center console. Alright, once you got your wire back ran under the dash, now we're going to go ahead and replace our cover and put our weather seal back in place. Make sure you get it back in the right track or your door will have problems with closing. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put this electrostatic film on the windshield itself. Personally, I'm not so sure whether these are beneficial or just a waste, but I go ahead and use them just in case. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on the windshield now. Be sure to clean your windshield if you are going to use one of these. Hopefully that will prevent any lint or bubbles from getting underneath when you put it on. Another little cool item to have on hand if you're putting stickers or things of this matter like the electrostatic screen on your windshield or windows is a felt tip scraper. That way you can get the air bubbles out. Really a lifesaver. Alright, before we actually put this to the windshield, make sure that your SD card here at the end is actually pressed in all the way. Another one of those things that if you have it up there and it's not working, you can't figure out why, this may be the cause of it. So just make sure that it's pushed in all the way. Okay, dash cam is in place. Power wire is plugged in. I actually have mine a little bit offset from the mirror, as you can tell, and because I do have another device that I plug in right there, and I don't want this in the way of it. Both of them are going to be equally important for different reasons. All right, now to go ahead and run the power cable the rest of the way under the dash and plug it in. All right, there's going to be quite a bit of excess of power cable, so you can roll it up and zip tie it to any wire bundle, anything underneath, at least that it's out of the way of your feet and your pedals. And for the purpose of this testing, I'm just running this wire up to the knee pad cover. I plan on actually doing a little bit of a more custom install of drilling a hole through here later. But for now, we're just going to run it around and then plug it in directly to here. Okay, let's go ahead and turn it on and see if it works. All right, now that we have our camera plugged in, we need to go ahead and download the app in order to connect to it. Make sure that you download the Arpha Vision app, not the Arpha app. Arpha will not work. Okay. All right, we're going to turn on our Bluetooth. And let's see. All right, once you connect it to the Wi-Fi, then in this screen here in the app, you'll see B25. If B25 is not there, just tap it and it will end up changing. From here, dashcam list, we're going to connect. It is connecting. We want to connect to the device. And we are going to allow for notifications. And now we are in.
Recording stopped.
All right, with the recording stop, we're going to go into the settings icon at the very top there. And this is where we're going to be able to make our modifications. One, we need to change the time zone for us here. We want to change the date time format for us here. And then we want to do the format SD card. It's going to confirm before you delete everything.
Format successful.
All right, successful. Okay, from here we won't get a format reminder anymore, and now we can go through and set up the date and time and all of those good things before we actually take it out on the road and get some footage. All right, we have our settings all taken care of, so the only thing left now is to hit the road, get some footage, walk through how to download it, and see how clear it all is. Let's go. All right, let's go through the voice commands just to see how they work. Turn off recording.
Recording stopped.
Open recording.
Recording started.
Take picture. Lock the video.
Current video locked.
Okay, that's very responsive.
A few moments later.
All right, in the app, in order to be able to access the settings or any of these areas here, we first have to stop the recording.
Recording stopped.
Then let's go into Dashcam albums to see actually everything that I recorded from a little while ago. Okay, very good. Of course, nothing from the parking, normal. All the different videos from our drive. So if we want to just, for instance, go into one of these files and we want to download, then we're going to hit download here. That's going to take a little bit of time, but relatively quick, as you can see. It's moving pretty fast. And done. All right, from here we're going to go all the way back out. Okay, in order to be able to see those files that you've downloaded, what we're going to need to end up doing is going back out, and then we see the local video.
Current video locked.
Then we're going to go into there, and once again it'll look like it was before. We'll go in here, and this will display those that you actually downloaded. If you want to be able to send these to someone, whether it's text or email or whatever, it's only going to allow you to send 15 seconds of that particular file. In order to be able to get the full file, that's where you'll need to actually get it from the micro SD card on a laptop or a PC. But the great thing is, with this dash cam, all the files are actually MP4s, so you do not need a particular application or program specifically for Arpha in order to be able to look at those files like some in the past that we have actually reviewed. So let's take a look at what these actually look like, just how they recorded, both from the front and the rear, both at day and at night. Then we'll come back to wrap up with what my final thoughts are on this. Okay, you've seen the installation and you have seen the video clip. So let's put a pretty bow on this and wrap it up with my overall opinion of the unit, and then also share with some things that I discovered over the course of driving for 2 days and really tinkering with it. We're going to break this into 2 different categories, a software and a hardware. And first off, I want to make sure that I call out, hey, this is not an expensive unit. At time of recording, this was $170, and they had a $50 off coupon to go along with it, so roughly $120. That is a very inexpensive dash cam for the features that come along with this particular unit. And when you step into that lower cost for technology, there are things that you are going to get, and there are things that you're going to give up. So keep that in mind as I walk through the things that I discovered, and leveraging some of this information if you are actually shopping for dash cams before you make that decision. I know when I'm out shopping for them, the good and the bad is very important for me to make that final decision. I work hard for the money and I don't want to waste it. So let's talk about the software. First, once you get it connected to the camera, everything is great. There was some stumbling points using the manual and trying to figure things out. Some of that may be on me, some of it is definitely on the manual, and there's points that are intuitive and there's some parts that are not. But once I got it figured out, everything is great, and each time I got into the vehicle, it auto-connected to the app through the Wi-Fi connection, and I never had any more issues. On the GUI side of the app, I like how everything looks. I like the ability to change a lot of different settings. I love the opportunity to be able to download and see those clips within the app and see the route that that clip was actually taken. And I also like that all the files are MP4, because we did test another unit where you had to have a proprietary software in order to convert it over to MP4. So definitely some positive pieces on the software side to this particular unit. Things that drew pause or caution for me on the software side. The first is the time zone. I could not get it to set correctly. That may be a firmware issue, because I'll admit that I did not check or update the firmware. I would think it would not be, but hey, it could be. But I could not get the time zone to reflect the time correctly upon setup. So that's something I'm going to continue to check into. This will likely be a mix of software and hardware, and that is the shock sensor of this unit. The WRX has a larger than normal audio system. There's a lot of bass in it. And even on the lowest sensor setting on the camera in the app, when I listen to my music a little bit louder than normal, emergency, emergency, and it continued to save every single clip over and over again. That's not going to work for me. I like my music loud sometimes, and I need that sensor on for that emergency piece. Now, will this work the way that it's supposed to in a vehicle with a smaller or a OEM audio system? More than likely. And in the next dash cam that we test, I'm going to test it in here and really be able to determine, is it the car or is it the unit itself that really isn't playing nicely. But I'm not overly concerned about it right now. Then let's talk about the hardware. So I love the unit. I love that it is compact. I love that it's low profile. It looks nice. So those things definitely check the box for me. As you saw in the footage clips, the night vision for the rear camera is bad. I'm just going to be honest, it's not good at all. There's a lot to be desired there. I could not make out anything other than it being headlights on a vehicle. And if you are putting this in a vehicle where you're driving regularly at nighttime, it may be something that you need to think a little bit further about. This barely makes it out at nighttime, so I'm not concerned about it. I know during the daytime, the footage and the clarity in the front and the rear cameras was great. I could make out license plates, I could make out makes and models, I could see everything that I needed to see in that footage. So it did what I needed to do. But I share that for each of you that may be looking for it on your own vehicles. Also, the power wire that comes with this is large. It's very bulky, and if I kept the unit, I would end up buying their hardwire kit, and in the manual they tell you how to search for it on Amazon to get it. The last piece is probably the biggest one. The indicator light on this unit flashes. It flashes blue. It also does red during emergency settings. But in the daytime, you can hardly notice it. At nighttime, it's incredibly visible. It's bothersome to me. It's bothersome to Dana. So it's not something that's going to end up working for us if we were to have it in a place where it's very visible and we can't turn it off. I could not find anything in the settings in order to disable that. So something I need to talk to Arpha about, and hopefully maybe in a future edition for the software side, that can be remedied. But that's it for my overall opinion. I think for the price point, it's a good unit as long as some of those areas that I called out to you are not that important to you, things that you can work around. Outside of that, for me, it likely is not going to be something that I can keep in this vehicle to be able to continue the lifestyle that I live and know that it's doing the job that I intended it to do. But we're going to test it in another vehicle as well, because I do like it overall and I'd love to be able to keep it. So hopefully that bit of information is beneficial to you. I appreciate you listening through and following along with it if you did. Otherwise, stay tuned for the next dash cam as well as all the rest of the project videos that we have. And we certainly appreciate you following along. Until next episode, take care, stay safe. We'll see you soon. Bye.